All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Anywhere and Everywhere podcast. Okay, what's up, everybody? We are back, and I am very sorry because it is mostly my fault that we've not been
It is
releasing
100%
Okay, well, we haven't recorded any either, and that is a
true.
two-man game. But I forgot to put out our podcast for like 5 weeks in a row. Now, to be fair, I am recording an album, but no excuses. I should have put that out. It takes like 5 minutes. But we're back and we're recording again, and we have a guest. What? Why don't you
Yep,
introduce
we
yourself,
do.
Hi.
Hannah?
I'm Hannah.
And just like say your age, where you live, that kind of thing.
I'm 16 and I live in the U.S.
Whoa, hold on. Do you mean that you live in the U.S. and you've only lived in the U.S.?
Always.
What? Okay.
I actually
What's
have
up?
never lived outside of one state either.
Oh, I don't even think I knew that.
No.
Wow, so you're like
Yeah, I was misinformed.
yeah. Okay, but first of all, let's just talk about. So I just wanted to quickly say I forgot to, but I'm Caleb and I've got Elijah over here. Why don't you say something? You've kind of been quiet.
I'm Elijah. He hasn't really given me a chance to talk yet, but I hope I'll get to later.
Sorry about that. My bad. But yeah, so we've got a guest on, and she lives in the States and is not a TCK. And we just want to talk about the differences between, I don't want to say normal kids, but normal kids and TCKs.
those who live in America.
Oh, switch it up.
Oh!
Switch it up.
Shots fired.
Okay, I know
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
just wanted
normal.
to-
It's fine.
Yeah, we just wanted to, kind of compare and talk TCKs with someone who's not a TCK.
Okay, so that actually leads me into my first question that I wanted to ask you, Hannah. Do you know what a TCK is?
No, what is a TCK?
Oh, Elijah, why don't you take
Did you
this
tell
one?
her to say that?
No, she doesn't know what
Okay,
TCK is, bro.
Well, a TCK is a third culture kid, meaning that we grow up in a different culture than the one we were born into, thus creating a third culture that we live in.
Also known as the coolest people on the planet.
Yeah, I wasn't really going to flex on her like that, but
We can play that card. We can play that card. All right, so now that you know what a TCK is, I do just want to talk to any new viewers or new listeners, I guess. This isn't really something you're viewing, but so I've been a TCK we moved overseas when I was I think I was
Really
3.
young, right?
Yeah, I was 3. What about you, Elijah?
I moved when I was 7.
Okay, 7. So we've both been, TCKs for a while, and it's something that really changes your life. It becomes part of who you are and how you live your life, and so it's a
Definitely,
really crazy experience is growing up overseas, but you're not a part of the other culture. You're American, but
Yeah.
or I mean, you don't have to be American, but we are both American, and we live in a different culture, and so it's really an amazing life experience.
Yeah, I find that it really is, it's just really beneficial in kind of making one think more internationally. Just being more open-minded to different things.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but when I go to America, I see there's so many people who think that, that Muslim equals terrorists. And me and Caleb have both lived amongst Muslims, and they're some of the nicest people I've met. So it just really helps you to kind of broaden your understanding of the world and the people in it.
I think that for some people, they really don't like being a TCK. They resent the fact that they were forced out of their comfortable lives or whatever, and some people hate America and they turn into the TCKs that despise everything about America. But I think that there's a perfect middle ground where you are American and you have that pride about your own country, but you also very much appreciate the blessing of growing up outside your home country.
Yeah. Are you saying you have pride? Because I've not heard you say that about the States before, and
I do have pride about my country because that blue passport has allowed me to get into
a lot of places.
Exactly.
True.
But seriously, being born in America is immediate.
so many benefits.
There's so many stories about the immigrants who are just trying to get to America so that their baby can be born on American soil just because of the amazing country that America is. And people are going crazy right now with Corona and a lot of things. But it still is a really amazing country, and it has a history of doing some very good things, some very bad things as well, but definitely some very good things as well. And I definitely see see the bright side of things a lot. And so I'm trying to look at the bright side of that, you know? Okay, so Hannah, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of talk for a little bit about your life story. It's really crazy, and I would love for you to tell your testimony here for the podcast.
Yeah. My past is very crazy, but I would not change it for anything. So, my biological family, my mother was drug addict, prostitute, and she smoked a lot. And my father was physically abusive to my mother and verbally abusive to all of the household. He smoked, did drugs, and was an alcoholic. And so I grew up in that lifestyle until about the age of 7, and we got put in foster care. And the people that we originally went to, they were like our daycare, the owner of the daycare that we would go to. And so we got to stay with her for a while. And, we kind of started trying to call them like mom and dad because that's who we were living with. And they were the parental authority of us. But they said, we're not your mom and dad. Like, you can't call us that. So, like, my sense of belonging kind of became lost. And I was just 7. I went from being the middle child to the oldest child because I had 2 older sisters. But since they both had a dad outside of my biological dad, because they were only half sisters, they weren't able to come with us. And I can't actually legally see them until I'm 18. So we couldn't see them at all. But so I became the oldest child, and that summer, we went to a VBS at a church, and they were just talking about how God was always going to be there for you, how he was going to be your friend, and, how even when everything was so unstable, he would be there. And I just knew that I needed God in my life. I needed him to be that solid rock for me. And so I accepted God as my Lord and Savior into my life, and since then, it's been a lot less lonely. And that was June of that summer, and then in July and August, I met my adoptive family, who I'm now with and who have been with since I have been 8, and I'm now 16. And they've just loved and cared for us forever, and I could not ask for any better parents. They're Christians, and they've just helped me grow in my faith so much and have been there for me no matter what. And actually, something that I love, and I just have to tell everybody, is that my mother, the adoptive one, she actually had 2 miscarriages before we came to her. One was in February and one was in August. And that is actually my sister and I's birthdays.
Wow. Yeah. That's you're like, praise God. That is insane, your story. I mean, like,
that really is. That's crazy.
You would not expect, that is, you started out in a place where finding Jesus would be so much harder, and then he still was able to move in your life and get you with this Christian family, and that's just really amazing. And Elijah, I don't know about you, but I feel like all my TCK stories just got flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, definitely.
I've flown on a plane before. I mean, wow. Okay, well, that is an amazing testimony, Hannah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm really encouraged too from hearing that. That's really cool. It's really cool how God works in even the least likely of places.
Yeah,
definitely. And everybody always asks, like, how are you so optimistic with your past and just about everything that happens with you? And I'm like, well, that's just because I've gone through some of the hardest things in life, and I know God's been there. I know he's been able to help me through it. So nothing else can really stop me from, I just know everything's going to work out in the end.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. And that's really amazing, because some people would see that and be like, oh, God, why didn't you help me? Like, why did you give me these parents, these biological parents? Like, why did you put me in that situation? But then you're looking at it in a really beautiful way that's saying, well, no, he actually got me out of that and then helped me get saved. And now I, by the grace of him, I get to be with him and have him as my Lord and Savior. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And actually, I know that my birth mother is doing a lot better now. She's asked God in her heart, and she's being able to travel the country to go share her testimony with people.
No way.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's really cool. Well, praise God for that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So I have something that would have originally, seemed bad. If you'd stopped telling the story at that first couple sentences, everyone would have just been like really sad, oh, that sucks. But then now look, it ended really amazing. I mean, that's amazing.
And I would not change it for anything.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
you see that, so now, I mean, obviously you pretty much answered this question already, but you see that as a blessing in your life.
Very much so.
Well, that's amazing. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm sure everyone listening will be very moved. That's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely am.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask you about another going into your life, but travel-wise, you said you've only been in that state. So have you ever been on a plane before?
I have never been on a plane.
You have never been on a plane? Wow.
I have never been on a plane, but I have been to so many states for visiting. We would travel everywhere, and so I've been through so many different places.
Okay, that's so cool. So, but you've never been on a plane. That's
cool.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I would love to go on a plane though.
The first time I went on a plane, I was 3 years old.
Yeah, the first time is cool.
Yeah.
Bro, okay, I did just want to ask that. Elijah, do you like plane rides? I love planes.
It depends on the plane.
Yeah.
For me, it depends on the airline.
Go Qatar Airways. Yes.
I mean, so growing up in the Middle East, one of the better airlines is Turkish Airlines, and I have to say they have the best food, and it's super comfortable, and they have good entertainment and stuff for the long flights. But
they do. British
Airways, I went on once. That was the worst.
Are you serious?
On a plane I've ever had. Honestly, it was so bad. They had a cold pretzel with cream cheese for breakfast.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, it was out of a freezer. It was not the best. So it depends on the plane. I generally like plane rides.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of get old. It's not even a big deal at this point. But
yeah. What's the longest plane ride you've ever been on?
The longest one I've been on, I think, was 14 hours.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, wow.
That's the one across the Atlantic.
Yeah. You've been on a longer one, right?
I've been on the most one. I think it was 16, but I'm not 100% sure. I know 14 was up there. Bro, Qatar is so nice. They always even if it's a 30-minute flight, they always have the TV screens that you can watch movies on and stuff. I just love that. When I was younger, when I would get into the plane, I would look around. So Hannah, there's these TVs that each on the back of the seat, there's these TVs and they have games and movies and music and everything. And it's really amazing. And so I remember getting on the planes when I was little and looking around, check the back of the seat to see if there's a TV, and I would be almost in tears if there wasn't. The plane ride's ruined.
Oh.
I have the best. So my little sister, when we first moved overseas, it was her first flight, or maybe her second flight, I don't remember. But she was really little. She was 3 years old, and we were flying to the Middle East to move over there. And it was the middle of the night, all the lights were out, and everyone was asleep. And Elizabeth wanted food. Elizabeth's my sister, and she asked my mom when the servants were going to come to give her her food.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
Hannah.
So we still mess with her every time we get on a plane. Tell her the servants are coming.
Hannah, I don't know if you remember this, but when I was in the States, so just for everyone listening, by the way, Hannah and I have been friends for a few years. She was at the same city as I was in the States, and then Elijah has never met her ever, so this is the first time they've ever even spoken to each other, so that's really cool. But Hannah, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were in the States on a trip one time, we were eating at Panera or something. Is that a bread place? It's
Panera Bread.
Yeah,
not a bread place.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know. And I left my plate and bowl and stuff on the table because here you leave it and then people come after you and clean it up fast food.
Yeah.
So then everyone was making fun of me. They were like, "Oh, you waiting for your servant, your Majesty, or whatever?" And then so that's not what you do in America. You have to pick up your own plate.
Okay, but in some places you actually do leave it on the table.
Would that be a higher class place if you do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be. And that's something that's very confusing for me, because if I go to a new restaurant, I actually have to watch to see if people are leaving their stuff on the table or not, because I don't know if you're supposed to leave it on the table or take it up to the trash can yourself.
Wow. Look at that, guys.
So see,
that American kids have problems too.
Everyone struggles with that.
Yeah.
We're not weird.
The struggle is real. Stop making fun of me. So I just wanted to ask you, Hannah, do you have any questions for us as an American kid who's lived in one state? Do you have any questions for TCKs, Third Culture Kids?
And as you should probably know, me and Caleb represent the entirety of the TCK
Yes,
community.
we are the official spokesmen of the TCK community.
how different is it living there than it is living like in the U.S.?
I don't even know.
I know. So we had to go back to the States because my mom got cancer for like 10 months. We were there. That's when I got to know Hannah. And it is very different, but not in the ways that you'd think. Cars are still the same. You just go to a gas station, get your gas. But then there's also different things. For example, the main one probably is language. Just the fact that when you walk outside, you are speaking in a different language.
Oh, it's so weird. It's so weird to like walk outside and hear people speak English. Like, it makes me uncomfortable.
Oh my word! I know. I feel it because that's my secret language. When I'm at the mall and I want to say something to my family that I don't want everyone else to hear, I talk in English. And then in America, It's like everyone understands you.
Wow.
So something really funny here is whenever we see people that look like genuinely American, maybe they're wearing shorts or collared shirts, we'll be like we're like worse than the natives staring at us because we're just like, oh, I wonder if they're American, wonder where they're from. But yeah, in America, everyone is, and you're just like looking around and you're like, wow.
Speaking
English. So yeah, I would say very different, but in other ways, very similar. Like life is still like a lot of people think that big things change, like drinking water and things. What did they ask you, Elijah, about the water?
Oh, I've been asked if we have like running water or electricity. Yes. Yeah, if you have that same question, we do.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. That's your next question. Do not ask that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like embarrass you if you were thinking that, but we do have running water and electricity.
Well, yeah, I mean, I figured as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like the main thing is people sometimes assume these really huge things change, like water and driving and things like that, and it's not. Small things do change. Like there are a lot of small little differences that you'd notice, and there are some big things like language and all that. But I do think that like generally it is not as shocking to live overseas as people would think.
That bad. It's not that bad, especially. I mean, at least I lived the first 7 years of my life in the States, so I kind of remember what it's like to live there. Not very well, but I have an idea of it. And we've been back there a few times since.
Yeah.
It's just it's a different culture, so it's kind of just odd to be in it because we aren't very often. And so
yeah, that's
all I'd say. We have culture shock. I can't think of anything right now. I mean, besides the stuff that Caleb's already mentioned.
Yeah.
What are politics like over there?
Corrupt.
Very corrupt.
Because it's crazy over here.
Do you know what embezzlement is?
Oh gosh.
No, but there's a lot of chaotic stuff. People were rioting in the streets earlier yesterday, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, which I mean, so is America.
The country
by the way.
I'm in now. I'm in Europe now, unfortunately. We had to move. I was in the Middle East. Here, for some reason, politics are like less corrupt, which isn't as nice. I feel like. I don't know.
What?
I like living in the Middle East where we can make fun of the government and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Move to the U.S. We're doing that constantly.
Oh my word! And that's what honestly sometimes that annoys me. Whenever like people make jokes about America, and I'm like, guys, we were doing that way before y'all.
Exactly.
They're like, people are burning down buildings. We're like, bro, that's my neighbors.
I mean, yeah. For this election, people were boarding up stores because they were like
crazy.
scared.
Yeah,
Bro, the news makes me think that now I would be more scared to live in America than I live here.
Honestly.
It's like ISIS is no big deal, man.
Right? Well, yeah, even one of my neighbors, she got her Trump sign taken out of her yard.
Oh, she had a Trump sign in your yard.
Yeah.
That takes guts, I guess.
She then realized it was one of her friends who hates Trump.
Oh.
Yes. Sounds right. That sounds American.
That sounds American. Both of those things sound American. The putting of the sign and the taking of the sign. All right, so that's very clear to me that America can be crazy as well as other countries. If you're in the Middle East or not, there can be crazy stuff to happen. So
Absolutely.
We're going to be wrapping it up now, but I do just want to say a couple of things. First of all, fun surprise, and she is, to this day, the only person I've ever met who's exactly my birthday, but Hannah and I were born on the same day, the same year, everything, so we're twins.
Yes, except he loves to brag about the fact that he is a couple hours older than
Well, 3 hours. I mean, a couple implies 2, but I was 3 hours
However,
older.
I could easily argue that he does not act like it.
No, he does not.
Hannah, you have a little surprise for Elijah, and he'll hopefully remember it. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
Hey, do you remember this song?
Yes,
Bro,
of course I remember that song.
She
That
is
was
a
the
huge
best song
fan of
that
that
Caleb
song.
has ever made to this day.
All right.
I absolutely love that song and know the lyrics.
That's
Yes,
so great.
Thank you. That actually is pretty cool. Thank you.
Okay, so listeners,
I wrote
Elijah
that
and
song
I.
basically, besides the fact that Caleb did, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Well. Okay. Okay. So listeners, Elijah and I were in a band a while ago, and it was called 1 and 1. Feel free to look it up on YouTube, 1 and 1 Official. And we made like 3 songs, and then we just decided that it'd be better to do our own things, not because of anger or anything. It wasn't like a big deal, but I just wanted to make my own music. So now I do make my own music, by the way. I'll put a link in the description.
I mean, of course, he'll never reach the full potential that 1 and 1 could have reached.
Right,
but
1 and 1 was gonna go global.
get close.
But that was our second song, and we wrote that in a hotel room at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And you wrote most of it, as I recall, and I was just like
It sounds
chiming in
like
with one word.
I mean, we recorded at like 1 a.m. and I had a cold, which I feel like it definitely sounds like that.
And you were like 12, so your voice is like
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
a little bit different.
My sister literally said, "Is that a girl singing?"
Oh!
See, you could have just left that part out.
Thank you, your sister. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
I had to burn your back.
Oh.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You totally did.
It's alright. I'll let it slide.
Don't let it slide this time.
At least it was the sound of a female angel.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
And I feel like
It
the
was a
producer
glorious
on that
voice.
was pretty
Definitely.
amazing. That producer was pretty amazing, though, right? The guy who
Yeah, of course.
put
Of
those
course,
drums in and stuff, guys.
My friends and I would stay up and just like listen to that song at night on repeat, just singing it because we loved it so much.
That is so. I did not know that anyone
That's
actually
weird.
liked it.
Like that's cool.
It's amazing.
I didn't know that anyone still knew that.
I did not know that anyone liked us.
I have been here since the beginning, y'all.
Yeah, you're an OG
Yeah,
fan.
definitely. That was the first song.
That was the second, bro. Not Again was the
The
first.
second. Oh, we had Not Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
But I did just want to quickly say, by the way, fun fact, I was not a singer at that point. In fact, I was so scared to even sing in front of you, Elijah, and now that's what I want to do with my life, is be a singer. So how
Yeah,
crazy
just
is that?
for the record again, I was never mind. I don't know if you guys can hear me. It's like reconnecting or whatever.
No, bro, we can hear you. And yes, I know what you're gonna say. You were the one who told me that I should sing. You said you have a good voice. You should try and do your own music. And I was like, okay. So thank you, Elijah.
We love the glow up.
The vocal glow up.
Yeah.
All right. I think that just about wraps it up for this one. Thank you so much, Hannah, for doing this with us. Just for
Anytime.
kind of telling us about yourself and then talking about TCKs with you. It was fun. And thank you guys for listening. And yeah, Caleb, you want to tell them about how they can get in contact with us?
Sure. So we have an Instagram, a SoundCloud, a YouTube, and you can also email us. So our YouTube and SoundClouds are just Anywhere and Everywhere, and it's the word Anywhere with an ampersand sign in the middle, and then Everywhere, all just one word. And feel free to search it up. We have a lot of other fun podcasts that you can listen to. We also, our Instagram is tck.hub. Okay, and you can also email us at anywhereandeverywhere.tck@gmail.com. And we want to hear y'all's stories. If you are a TCK or you're not a TCK, have questions, anything, email us. We want to get in touch with you, and we'll check that every day. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much, Hannah, for doing this. This was so much fun. I'm so glad. I hope we can do it again sometime.
It was a lot of fun.
I loved it.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week.
Peace out.